Hey, TT girl. What's up, baby? Oh, TT. I done knocked you over, girls. You all right? Are you all right, honey? Trying to make this phone stand up because I don't want to hold it. Hey, Joshua. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I guess I'm going to have to hold it. T said one. Let me see. Let me share myself out, y'all, real quick. What the one mean, y'all? I don't know what that mean. Let me see. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Oh, okay. Okay, y'all can hear me. Yes. Okay, we clear. We clear. We clear out here. We clear. Look, let me share myself out. Thank y'all for the thumbs up. I'm about to cut it off. Y'all ain't gonna hear me no more. Okay, we clear. We clear. We clear out here. Oh my God, I hate hearing my voice. Let me share myself out. Thank y'all for the thumbs up. I'm about to cut it off. Y'all ain't gonna hear me no more. Hold on, y'all. Oh my God, I hate hearing my voice. I cannot stand to hear my voice, y'all. Okay. What's up, y'all? What is popping? Okay, I think we good now. I think we good. Okay. Thank you for the other thumbs up. Whoever done brought it in the building. What's going on? We got 10 folks in here. 3 thumbs up. So we already know we gotta watch. We gotta watch. Y'all, so we ain't did none of this in a minute, y'all. Because your girl been over here with the flu. She still got little symptoms and everything. I done missed the gym today. We got 15 people in here and 4 thumbs up. We definitely got to make this right here possible to add up for us to even continue to go on. Like, comment, and share. Let them know, TT. Okay, we got 5 thumbs up. We can't go on until we can match up stuff. But yeah, so y'all know I've been over here with the little flu. I'm feeling a little better. I didn't get to go to the gym today. My grandkids done lost my gym key, so I'm gonna have to buy another gym key. But today was a good day for me. I actually changed my living room around. I got my room clean. I done picked up my portable closet like I was telling everybody. So I am definitely like on the right track. I just got like kind of like a head cold or whatever. It's like still in my head or whatever. But other than that, I think I'm doing pretty good. Bushwatchers, hit the like button. Nobody will know. Nobody will not know. They is not going to say, hey, um, I seen you hit the like button over there at Let's Talk with Love. They not gonna know. I promise you. If you hit that like button, they're not gonna know. TC just told you that. So if you hit it, 19 people. Nobody ain't gonna know. I promise you. We got 15 people. Y'all come on, let's discuss this because we gotta see this. There's so much going on in the world, but we're not gonna discuss everything that's going on in the world right now today. Because it's too much. It's stuff every day that's going on. Our hearts is going out to the ones that they deporting. That ISIS is over here taking. Our hearts go out because them children, they are innocent kids. And listen, we ain't gonna go no farther right there. That's it. Because it's too much going on. Or just double tap. That's right. Just let them know. Just double tap this damn screen. Hey, LaDonna girl. How you doing? It's been a while. How are you? I'm amazing. Hope you are. Happy New Year to you, baby. Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on, LaDonna girl. Oh, shit. Hold on, LaDonna. Hold on, girl. Wait a minute. I gotta do something. I don't want to deal with these demons, girl. No. Not today. But yeah, LaDonna, I hope you had wait, I didn't get okay, I made sure I had the right person. Okay. TT said, hey, LaDonna girl. But yeah, I had to make sure I get the right person because we're not gonna ready to play the little troll things today. Yeah, happy new year. My new year is crazy. We just gonna say it's crazy. It's amazing, it's crazy. But the day and the time that we living in, y'all, we just gotta be thankful for every second. Because these times that we living in right now, I told my daughter today, I said, let me tell you something. I am so embarrassed. She said, what? I said, I am so embarrassed that I'm thankful for my children, love my children, won't take nothing from them. But I am so embarrassed that I have to raise children. And my children is grown, but still. That I have to raise children in this time that we living in. For them to see the mess that's going on is so embarrassing to me. Like, this is so embarrassing for them to see the division that's happening now. I wanted my children to read about it in history. I didn't want them to experience it in real time. So I am so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. And for my granddaughter that's 9 years old, when my daughter asked her what was she doing, what she gonna do, what she wanted to do for her birthday, and she said, I don't want to plan my birthday because my friends may get deported. You hear me? That's what my 9-year-old granddaughter said. She don't want to plan her birthday party because some of her friends may get deported. What do a 9-year-old know about stuff like that? And this was before, if he got in, this is what it was going to be. Okay? We don't dislike nobody. We don't hate nobody. You're not supposed to feel like that. You're not supposed to know things like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to wish nothing on nobody. But I just wish that, that we wouldn't have to experience it. So I just feel saddened for everybody. And it's just not for them. It's for us too. You know, it's for everybody, a lot of us. Because look at Target. Look at they saying Walmart is pulling out all the items from the black communities that's inside of there. They selling in there. They not gonna want them to hire. Listen, y'all. I don't even want to say it because I know y'all done already seen it and read it and everything. It's just so freaking embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing, but I'm not upset. And the reason why that I'm not upset is because I know a God that sits high and looks low. So that's the reason why I'm not upset. But I know it's some people that's not connected to him that is very upset. But we can't lose sight. That see that 7 popped up there? We cannot lose sight of who God is because God said he would never fail you. He would never. And if anybody in here that is connected and connected and connected and know that they know that they know, y'all sit back and watch God. Because he said, be still and know that I am God. I had to say that because that's what's on my heart. So I had to say that before we continue on with what we got going on. But I just don't want nobody to lose sight and don't worry about what it looks like. It's embarrassing, but don't worry about what it looks like because God said he'll never fail you. He said he will never leave you nor forsake you. And I just needed y'all to know that, okay? And the replayers, people in the replays, people in the bushes, don't get discouraged. Please don't. Because that's giving the enemy power, okay? God have his people in places that's going to turn these things around. I promise you. Y'all watch what I say. Watch what I say. But anyway, what was that? Let me go back to my stuff because it done went off the TV because I had to get that out. Bab, hey girl. I didn't lost my stuff, but I gotta find it. There you go. Let me put it on pause. Round up spare change into saving stocks of Bitcoin. You use your cash. Hold on, y'all. 17 cents on Bitcoin. My girl Vibe said, "Hey, chat." Said, "I don't know you. I didn't know you was on. I just came on, baby. I just came on. I just came on. Hey, Marissa, girl. I just came on. I'm about to play this right here, but I just was just encouraging everybody. We haven't played it in a while, baby. But yeah, I just wanted to encourage everybody and just let them know. You know what I'm saying? Let God is still God. Okay? But let's go. Let's move on, y'all. Let's move on to the next step. So P. Diddy is accusing Tupac murder. Everybody already had their own theory. And everybody was already saying what's what and how they felt about it and everything like that. So Long Crime is finally talking about it again. But this time, this is what's really going on. So y'all already know that P. Diddy, the times that we living in now, even if the P. Diddy fans and the ones that even is concerned about him and the ones that dislike him, okay? We already know that this man probably will never see the light of day. He probably won't. Not of the day that we see, I mean, behind the walls. Probably when they transfer him to another prison, he probably be able to see the light of day. Because they is piling so much stuff on him. Not saying that he did it, not saying he didn't do it, but the law is that you are innocent until proven guilty. But these days and times, it don't work like that. These people y'all don't get distracted by stuff, y'all. But these people these days are not, following the law. This man has been guilty of doing everything that they said he done did. He ain't been to court for shit. Court case ain't started, ain't nothing have happened, but he is guilty because we basically is there's no laws these days. I don't even know what the hell is going on. Everything is so damn wishy-washy out here. You can't tell nothing. I mean, everything is just everybody just making their own damn rules these damn days. That's just basically what I see. But so I say it all the damn time that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. What's up, Father Fred in the building? Um, but everybody gonna do what they want to do. Big blessings to you, sister. Big blessings to you too, bro. So they accusing him now. I haven't watched it yet, so I said I was gonna watch it with y'all, and we're gonna sit and try to break it down to what it is. But Puffy, just know that he probably y'all will never see him again. Okay? Um R. Kelly, you probably never see him again either. But yet and still, and I just want to say this to the people. I'ma say it too. They said it wrong in my opinion because it's really guilty until proven innocent. You better say it, T. I'ma say this because they're trying to pardon, okay? That's why we need to sometimes just be a little humble because now they're trying to pardon the man that put that knee inside of my boy George Floyd. His family is from my town. His sister is Bridget. We know them. This is the town that he's from. Okay? They're going to pardon him. The one that put the knee, yeah, in George Floyd neck. All the people they he's going to get out of there if he's not already out. Okay, the ones that the man that Pow Pow what's her name, Brianna, yeah, they're going to pardon her. How many they're going to pardon him? The one that did that, yeah, they're gonna pardon him. They're gonna be out. Okay, but they're gonna keep P Diddy in there. Did anybody know the reason why that P Diddy got this and R Kelly? get to stay in prison, but the one that took George Floyd life and Breonna life and a couple more is get to come out free. Maybe and nobody don't know. I don't know why. What's the difference? Okay, so no, I'm not on nobody's side, but I just want to know. Oh, well, okay. So somebody knows. Marissa knows. Okay, to distract and divide. That's correct too, Father Fred. It's absolutely correct. I just wanted to know that everybody else over here was on the same page. Okay, because there you go, TT understand what's going on too. Because the man that took George Floyd out of here, don't you think that's a spit in the damn face to my friend Bridget, to her family, to the family members, to his children, for him to be walking on these streets after we watched on camera of him taking his last breath with his fucking knee in his neck. I'm sorry, we're gonna cuss tonight, y'all. It's cussing season. Sorry, Father Fred. We pray. God gonna forgive us. But don't you think that's a spit in that family face? What about Brianna's face? Her family face, you know? You gonna say, hey, I'm gonna get him out of jail, out of prison? He don't deserve to be there because he unalived. Who? Who did he unalive? The person wasn't important. They didn't mean anything. He did the right thing. Oh, okay. This might be a little too strong for y'all tonight. I might need to just mind my damn business. Because why he still in there? Why he still in there? Why he ain't getting no pardons? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So let me move on, dear, because this might be a little too much. Let's hear what he's saying about this man.
Into Tupac Shakur's murder, but there has been one man who has seemed to implicate himself in the assassination again and again and again. Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D. By the way, spelled sometimes with two F's, sometimes with two E's, even sometimes with a Y. Gets a little bit confusing, but Keefe D. Now, Davis was reportedly the leader of a sect of the Crips street gang in Compton, California that dealt in drug sales and trafficking. Davis eventually did time in prison on drug charges in the late 90s, but since getting out, he has been more open about his apparent involvement in Shakur's death. Davis released his own tell-all book. It's called Compton Street Legend, Notorious Keefe D's street-level accounts of Tupac and Biggie murders, death row origins, Suge Knight, Puffy Combs, and crooked cops. And he started granting interviews with YouTubers who wanted the inside scoop on what happened on that night back in 1996 out in Las Vegas. So Davis and several members of his entourage apparently attended the Mike Tyson boxing fight. But afterward, in the casino, Shakur had attacked Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson. The fight had apparently been sparked by a previous beef over an alleged stolen neck chain. So the men eventually separated, the two groups went on their way, but Anderson, Davis, and others that were with them were reportedly still pretty heated over what had just happened. And later that night, allegedly, their plan was to target Shakur and Knight. And Knight, of course, is was the head of Death Row Records, as they were all stopped at a traffic light. This is what happened.
Hold on, y'all. Gotta watch a little commercial, y'all.
What are you working on today?
I've got a light out.
We got what you need.
This is crazy.
This twin pack?
Okay. Oh no, one more commercial, y'all.
Now, in an interview with the Art of Dialogue channel, Davis said he was in the front passenger seat that night with DeAndre Big Dre Smith and Anderson in the back seat of the rented Cadillac. And what happens next? Who fired the shots? Take a listen.
Dre, he was the one that was supposed to shoot, Tupac and Suge, but he got scared, right?
No, he didn't really get scared. He wasn't ready for that. They was youngsters, man. Kids.
But once again, y'all Crips, right? So he should be used to that, right, Dre? So why was
he wasn't ready for that? But everybody got a role, man. Everybody ain't killer. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna kill.
So
Everybody
he
ain't
was
with
the
that.
shooter?
No.
Okay, so, but he was the one that was supposed to shoot up Tupac and Suge, but for some reason, he wasn't ready for it, so he gave the gun to Orlando, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And Orlando is the shooter. He's the known shooter. I mean, everybody know Orlando Anderson was a shooter. So Dre got cold feet. He didn't want to do it. He gave the gun to Orlando, and Orlando shot Tupac and Suge.
Yeah, he did his thing, yeah.
Now, let's be clear about something. Anderson has always denied that he was the killer. In fact, he died just a few years after Shakur in another shooting. The other men in the Cadillac, DeAndre Smith and the driver, Terry Brown, they are also both dead. But Davis told a lot of this information to Los Angeles and Las Vegas investigators as well. And this is after he apparently became a confidential informant for a task force that was looking into the murder of Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G. By the way, we're about to talk about Diddy. We did a whole separate sidebar episode on how Sean Combs' former bodyguard came out recently, spoke on a documentary, and saying that Sean Combs could have been involved in the murder of Christopher Wallace. I encourage everybody to check it out if you're interested. But then going back to Tupac, we go to September of 2023. So this is 27 years after Shakur's death. And Davis was arrested near his home outside of Las Vegas and taken into custody. And since then, after he's been charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur, he and his legal team have been working to get him out of jail and to get his case thrown out. Now we can say definitively he has lost both of those battles. He has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. He's supposed to go to trial in March, but I want to explain a little bit more about this. So earlier this month, Davis's defense team filed a motion to dismiss the case. And as part of his argument, he is pointing the finger, seemingly, at Sean Diddy Combs.
What
as
in the
one
world?
who really is responsible for Shakur's death. Yeah, this is one of those stories that we've been constantly trying to keep an eye out for, bring you updates as they develop. And for that, I gotta call out our amazing sponsor, Morgan & Morgan.
They always got a
support
Morgan and Morgan up here. We don't want to do that. Go on.
Now, at the time of Shakur's death, Combs was beginning his meteoric rise to the top of the rap world. He had started Bad Boy Records, now called Bad Boy Entertainment. And of course, there was this ongoing feud, West Coast versus East Coast, with this feud that he had with Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, again, the leader of Death Row. So I want to take a look at the legal arguments that Davis's team had in their filing. And it reads, Defendant Dwayne Keith Davis hereby files this motion to dismiss on the basis that the state of Nevada has failed to timely pursue these charges against Mr. Davis, failed to provide corroborating evidence to support Mr. Davis's coerced confession, and failed to honor the federal proffer agreement between Mr. Davis and the United States government, thus substantially impairing Mr. Davis's constitutional rights. So two big arguments here. One is that the government waited too long to file the murder case, 27 years. They claim that this was done maliciously. By the way, though, typically speaking, there are no statute of limitations for murder. But even if they had filed the charges sooner, this is Davis's other argument, Davis says he's immune from prosecution thanks to an agreement he had with investigators when he was hauled in to talk about Tupac Shakur's shooting. And listen, remember, Bill Cosby, we all remember what happened to him. His conviction for drugging and raping a woman was vacated because his due process rights were violated, since a former DA had in fact made an oral promise to Cosby that he wouldn't be prosecuted. And remember, Cosby relied on that promise to admit some incriminating things about that encounter. So the High Court actually determined his conviction should be thrown out. But going back to this, the first big interview that was referenced in the filing is from a couple years after Tupac Shakur died. On July 16, 1998, Mr. Davis was interviewed by Assistant United States Attorney Michael Terrell. Mr. Davis's attorney, Mr. Eddie Fayol, was present. The interview was considered a proffer agreement between the United States government and Mr. Davis, under which any information provided by Mr. Davis would not be prosecuted related to that information. Mr. Davis was repeatedly questioned about the alleged murder of Tupac Shakur. Mr. Davis denied knowing who shot Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis was asked to speculate as to who shot Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis stated it was the Compton Police Department under the direction of Suge Knight, owner of Death Row Records. Mr. Davis was asked what would be Mr. Knight's motive, and Mr. Davis responded Mr. Shakur was getting ready to leave working with Death Row Records. At no time during the interview, less than 2 years after Mr. Shakur's shooting, did Mr. Davis state that he or members of Southside Crips were involved in any manner with the shooting of Mr. Shakur. Okay, goes to an issue of credibility. Well, Davis says he was interviewed again in 1999, and during that meeting, he denied that his nephew Anderson was the shooter. Mr. Davis stated that Mr. Anderson was not involved in the shooting of Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis did discuss that Mr. Anderson was attacked by Mr. Shakur in Las Vegas the night of Mr. Shakur's shooting. Nevertheless, the decision was made to retaliate in Compton since there were so many police around in Las Vegas during the Mike Tyson fight. And during that interview, Davis blamed Compton police for spreading the rumor that...
It's always a commercial. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think that he had something to do with it? Or do y'all think he orchestrated it?
America's favorite streaming service that's safe for the whole...
Well, later we know that Davis himself would say that in public statements. But the motion to dismiss also says that Davis was offered immunity during the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s. The filing reads, the 3 LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between, Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the murder of
Yeah,
Tupac
that could
Shakur.
be true,
The Clark
Tasha.
County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason.
But I believe. Now, let me stop saying I believe stuff. It kind of makes sense a little bit what he just said. That they said that that he paid them to do that, and they never got paid. So that's what it's given too.
As to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system. Now, of course, there was a response because the prosecutors in Las Vegas called out Davis for being quite dramatic and said he has been telling on himself for decades. So their motion in opposition to the motion to dismiss states, in the years following Shakur's murder, defendant Dwayne Keefe D. Davis confessed to being involved in Shakur's murder in nearly every form imaginable. Defendant confessed to some of his role in Shakur's murder during an interview with LVMPD Homicide in 2009. Defendant admitted to seeking a deadly confrontation with Knight and Shakur in interviews with the producers of the Death Row Chronicles in 2017. Defendant recounted his involvement in Shakur's murder in his book published in 2019. And defendant has gleefully claimed responsibility for the murder of Shakur in numerous YouTube interviews from 2019 up until his arrest. And the prosecution then addressed the issue of immunity from prosecution, right? Well, maybe he's admitting everything because, he thinks he's immune. They have a response to that. Quote, defendant asserts that he has received immunity from prosecution in this case. Defendant has provided absolutely no proof that transactional immunity was ever conveyed by any prosecuting authority. Defendant has provided no federal court order conveying immunity. Defendant has provided no California court order conveying immunity. However, even if he had such a grant, they couldn't possibly cover his criminal liability in Nevada. Defendant also claims that his proffer in 1998 and his statement to Detective Long somehow created immunity for the crime. As the court is aware, the legal community utilizes proffer to describe a contractual relationship between an interviewee and a prosecuting authority. In essence, a proffer agreement allows for statements made pursuant to the terms by the interviewee to not be used against that person. The state does not seek to utilize the 1998 proffer session against defendant and has no idea what the terms of such an agreement were between him and the federal government before he entered his plea. The report seems to reflect that this was a standard proffer where a criminal defendant is interviewed about his knowledge on all possible criminal subjects he may have information about before he's allowed to enter his plea. While he doesn't refer to the proffer agreement with the AUSA Searwright, the terms of
Just
that
a lot
agreement are
of
known.
jibble jabber.
Defendant was specifically informed that this agreement was between him and the federal government. Moreover, the agreement is limited to a single date and time. It allows for the statements to be utilized on cross-examination of defendant if he ever testifies differently. Finally, the agreement is limited by its express terms. Nothing in that agreement suggests the defendant has immunity from any criminal charges. Notwithstanding, it appears to only apply by its express terms to an interview on December 1st, 2008. Certainly, defendant is free to litigate the admissibility of the December 18, 2008 statement. However, case law establishes that defendant's mistake of fact about its admissibility, particularly where he had a lawyer present who knows the specific terms of the agreement, would not lead to suppression of the statement, meaning it can't come into evidence.
So basically, what they basically saying. So if they said that P Diddy allegedly paid um the two men to go ahead and do that, and he didn't pay them the cash, what was they going to do? Call the police and say, "Hey, I went over there and I unalived Tupac, and he didn't pay me." So there you have it. Basically, they not gonna tell on themselves, so they couldn't do nothing about it.
No,
If
what are you
that,
working on today?
if that's
Hi,
what
my
really
signature lights
happened,
on. Let's see what our free fix finder service says. And if you need help,
that's crazy.
we're free.
Tap into Etsy for
That's
home and style
crazy.
finds like custom shelving for less than $50 to make more space.
It's crazy.
And on Tuesday, Clark County District Court Judge Carly Kearney agreed with the prosecution, saying Davis has provided no proof that he had any immunity deals. And we're going to expect to hear in the next few days if Davis's legal team plans to appeal that decision to the state Supreme Court. Remember, going back to Cosby, it was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court who ultimately determined that his conviction should be vacated because he had entered into an immunity agreement. So we shall see what happens. Davis says he eventually became a confidential informant to a task force that was investigating the murder of Biggie Smalls.
He didn't let you know that he done became a police informant. He said he didn't let y'all know that he was an informant. Lord have mercy.
Smalls. So this is Shakur's main rival at Bad Boy Records out in New York, and we know that Biggie Smalls was actually gunned down in Los Angeles. The prosecutors countered Davis's claims by saying there's no proof of any sort of immunity offer here, and that even if Davis had been offered some kind of protection from prosecution in California or the federal court system, that wouldn't apply to his case in Nevada. And the judge agreed, opting not to throw out the case, denying the defense's motion. One of the most interesting things to come out of that motion to dismiss, though, is just how many times Davis talked about Sean Diddy Combs over the years, the disgraced rapper and music mogul that we have been focusing upon a lot here on Sidebar, currently in the detention center on federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering and prostitution, headed to trial out in May.
What you gonna say, T? Hey, I'm a drug dealer, and Tom, Dick, and Harry just came down here to rob me for my drugs. Can you give me my drugs back and lock them up? No, it don't work like that. So that's why this quiet is kept like that. So they be like, damn, he didn't even pay our damn money. I'm going to get his ass or something like that. But they can't go tell on themselves.
But I want to talk
And the person that hired you to do this type of shit, they know it. They like, what he going to do? Tell the police he the one did it. So he going to get time, I'm going to get time too.
What Davis has to say about him, what he has to say about, I should say, Puffy. That's one of the many monikers that Combs has adopted over the years, and that's how he refers to him in this filing. So Combs started his meteoric rise to stardom in the early 90s as well. Started Bad Boy Records, now Bad Boy Entertainment out in New York. There was the big East Coast, West Coast beef, Death Row versus Bad Boy. And Davis says that Combs used that as an excuse to put out a hit, an assassination order on Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. So let's take a look at what Davis had to say about Combs. And a little bit of note about this. So Davis has told many versions of his story to police over the years, changing some details, leaving other details out. Got to take that with a grain of salt about his credibility. Sometimes he would admit to things, sometimes denying them. Again, just take that for what it is. In fact, I will also tell you, the state talks about that in their opposition to the motion to dismiss, which says on December 18, 2008, defendant was interviewed by task force officers at his lawyer's office. This interview was surreptitiously recorded by LAPD Detective William Holcomb. During this interview, defendant confessed in detail about his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur, consistent with his book and subsequent YouTube.com statements. And what Davis revealed in an interview with the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel in 2021 is that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, shot Shakur from the backseat of the rented Cadillac. But during an interview with the FBI in 1999, Davis apparently said something completely different. According to the FBI report, which was included in the motion to dismiss, Anderson was not involved in the shooting death of Tupac Shakur, and neither Davis nor his group killed Shakur or Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Notorious B.I.G. Davis does not know who killed the two rap stars. He believes that either individuals from New York associated with Puffy Combs or individuals associated with Death Row Records could have killed Shakur, and that individuals associated with Death Row Records killed Wallace. Okay, so again, changing stories. And by the way, Davis goes on to say that he was introduced to Combs in the early 90s by a man named Eric Zip Martin. This is another alleged drug dealer. And this is where we get into it. So the report reads, in or around 1992, Martin introduced Davis to Sean Puffy Combs. Davis recalls the introduction occurring at the Paradise nightclub on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Right,
After
Marissa,
speaking
me
with
too.
Combs, Davis agreed to allow Combs to use his 1964 Chevy in a music video. The video featured the artist Usher. After the vehicle was damaged in the production of the video, Combs paid $2,500 to have it repaired. And by the way, according to Davis, Combs was scared of Suge Knight. And this was a man who had a reputation for being, sometimes violent and extreme. And that moves us now to this DEA report. So there was a DEA report from a 2008 task force meeting with Davis that was also included as an exhibit in the motion. And in it, Davis talks about the murder of a man named Jai Robles. This is Knight's bodyguard. He was killed in Atlanta in 1995. And according to Davis, he heard a rumor that an associate of Combs had killed Robles. The report says Combs requested to speak to Davis and asked Davis if he thought it was safe for Combs to come to Los Angeles for a concert. Combs expressed his concerns about Knight and possible retaliation related to the Robles murder. Davis advised Combs that he would provide 40 or 50 tickets to the concert. Davis could provide an entourage. Combs agreed, and Davis and his crew, in fact, attended the concert in support of Combs. Davis recalls the concert taking place in Anaheim, California. It was at this event that Combs began to solicit Davis to kill Knight and Shakur. Combs asserted something to the effect of, "I'll give anything for those dudes' heads." Quote, at a later date, Dwayne Davis, Eric Martin, Corey Edwards, Sean Combs, and others met at Greenblatt's restaurant in Hollywood. Well, at the restaurant, Combs summoned Davis into the downstairs area. Combs again told Davis that he needed to get rid of Knight and Shakur. Combs offered Davis $1 million to handle the problem. Davis remembers Combs being very afraid of Knight. So after the car that Knight and Shakur were in was hit by a hail of bullets back in 1996, Davis says that Combs wanted to know if that was the result of him allegedly putting out a hit on Shakur. The task force report states, well, at the restaurant, Martin told Davis that Combs had called Martin and asked, was that us?
Marissa.
Davis asked Martin when he would receive compensation for the shooting. Martin told Davis he would get the money when he returns to New York. Additionally, while at the restaurant, Combs called Martin again. Martin then handed the phone to Davis. Combs again inquired, was that us? Davis recalled Combs sounding elated at the situation. Again, this is all allegations, but quite an allegation nonetheless. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs paid the go-between, again, Zip Martin, who allegedly kept it for himself. So we mentioned a moment ago that an LAPD officer had recorded statements that Davis made in 2008. The state included a transcript of that interview in its filing. And in the transcript, WH refers to Wayne Higgins. This is Davis's lawyer during the interview. Q refers to the questions, and the A's are Davis's answers. Okay, so it says, WH, okay, now go on and ask whatever you want. Q, Puffy Combs? A, yeah. Q, does he play a role in this thing? WH, answer the question directly. Tell him what you think. A, did he play a role in this? WH, don't hesitate, just tell him. Question, yes. Answer, yeah, I think he did. And later in the interview, Davis said, yeah, I feel, I wish it would never ever, I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period, I swear to God. Question, yeah? Answer, he messed up my life, man. I was rich up and under the radar, all that, man. Question, that's all gone? Answer, it's all gone.
It's just so much going on in Hollywood, y'all. You don't know
My
about
blog
nothing.
is the
You don't
perfect
know who
place
to
to capture
trust
all the cool things
or
going on.
nothing.
Iron Money doing what?
But boy,
Now,
you
what
shouldn't have done
about
that.
Combs' alleged involvement in the death of Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace? Okay? This was a big one. Smalls was gunned down in a drive-by shooting out in Los Angeles in March of 1997. You might be saying, I thought they
Talented
were
man.
friends, right? Anybody who followed this? We did a whole sidebar on this, but Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Combs, who has recently started doing interviews and offering theories on Combs' alleged bad behavior, now says the rapper could have been involved in killing Biggie. So Deal, who was reportedly Combs' bodyguard from 1991 to 2005, sat down for the documentary Diddy, the making of a bad boy, that aired on Peacock. And according to him, Combs was acting weird in the lead up to Biggie's murder. He says in the documentary, the week in which Biggie was murdered, he was just acting real anxious and trying to get big at this party. And what was crazy was Big was telling people he had to be in London, but Puff was telling people he ain't going to London that whole week. You fast forward to the day of the party, and Deal says, I'm sitting up in the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I get a phone call. It's about 9 o'clock, and they say,
Yeah.
Gene, get ready, we're going to the vibe party. I was like, we're going to the party? We don't have no security. But according to Deal, tried to warn Combs this probably wasn't a good idea. I said, yo, Puff, I got some intel, bruh. He said, what? I said, yo, man, if we go to this party tonight, one of us is going to get killed. Somebody's going to die. Because now we got East Coast, West Coast beef. He said, yo, Gene, I don't want to hear that S, so we all jump in the car. I was in a car with Puff. Big was in his own car. And the next thing you know, you hear pow, 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 pow. Biggie was shot 4 times, died right after arriving at the hospital. According to Deal, Combs showed up at the hospital, seemed shocked that Biggie was dead. And we asked celebrity criminal defense attorney Brian McMonigal about this latest accusation against Combs, who's already facing these 3 federal charges related to the so-called freak-off activity. And again, he's facing dozens of civil lawsuits. But here's what Brian had to say.
I don't see this. This is a 30-year-old accusation, and it seems to me that it's getting to a point where Diddy's concerned, where it's dangerously getting to piling on in a way that I think might just help him. As I thought about this last night, once I saw the article in the Post and was referenced on the documentary, it seems to me that there are a lot of people now that are jumping on this bandwagon.
They are
of
creepy.
making,
They so little too.
what I would say are baseless allegations against this guy. This one in particular just smells to me. Did this guy say any of this stuff over the past 30 years to anybody in law enforcement? Has there ever been any kind of a suggestion that he was involved by law enforcement? It seemed to me that he was in a close relationship with Biggie, and that if anything, he was on the other side of this East Coast, West Coast fight. So the one thing that I would say about it is just bringing this kind of full circle to this upcoming trial. They're going to be looking for things like this, the defense in this trial. They're going to be looking for accusations that are stretched. They're going to looking for moments that they can disprove things. And make no mistake about it, there'll be a few things like that. And hope that that'll give them the kind of strength and ability to diffuse perhaps as many of these allegations as they can where this indictment's concerned.
Now, to be clear about something, Combs has always denied any involvement in the deaths of Tupac.
What are you going to say? Yeah, he did it?
He certainly has not been arrested or charged in connection with their deaths in any way. As for Davis, we go back to him. It's going to be up to his attorneys to decide if they will appeal the judge's denial of their motion to the state Supreme
So I
Court.
can blur the
In the
eyes.
meantime, Davis has been denied bail, so he's going to be sitting in the Las Vegas jail until his trial, which is scheduled to begin in March.
Sucking in them
Keep an eye on
joints.
it.
Whew.
Sean Combs' federal criminal case out of the Southern District of New York, where he faces charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking through force, fraud, or coercion of victim one, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Trial currently scheduled for May 5th, 2025. But
They
let's go
are
back
weird looking to
the
me.
indictment, because this is really where it centers upon it. So it alleges that Sean Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of
Was they
Combs' role at the
charged?
Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes.
So what that got to do with what's going on? All the charges that he already have. I just don't understand that. I just don't know. Why are we talking about this? We already know those charges. We're here to find out what are they saying about Tupac. Um that's why he always wears. Yep, that's why he always wears shades. He don't like his own damn eyes, do he, Vibe? He been hiding something. Yeah, and it's definitely in the eyes, but the charges that they're reading out, I'm just not understanding because we're here for
her church. Everybody loved her. She got diagnosed.
we here for
Victims
the
engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to
Hey,
recover
Kimberly girl.
from the physical exertion and drug use. And let's not forget that prosecutors
Well, that's
alleged that
7.
these freak-offs weren't just happening years and years ago. In one of their letters to the court, they wrote, indeed, since at least in or about January 2024, when the defendant was unquestionably
white
aware
girl.
of the criminal investigation,
You
the
talking about
evidence shows that he
the
is
stuff that
engaged
he put
in
up his
multiple
nose.
freak-offs.
TC
Some
said Vibe
involving the
exactly,
interstate
yeah. Hey,
transportation of
Kimberly,
individuals
Vibe
to
said.
participate, has continued to use narcotics and has contacted multiple witnesses. Now, I think there's a fair argument to say that Sean Combs' defense counsel isn't going to shy away from the term freak-off. They might accept, yeah, Sean Combs called these sexual encounters freak-offs. Yeah, they weren't with commercial sex workers, but maybe it was group sex, or maybe it was things that were filmed with him and a partner of his, but doesn't make it illegal. The way it becomes illegal is if you do bring in these sex workers, if there is some sort of force or fraud or coercion that is used, or there are narcotics that are used, and this idea that it wasn't on the up and up. But I think they're going to say it might be different from what you and I do, but it's not necessarily illegal. I want you to keep that in mind. And obviously, as you heard there are elements to the racketeering charge, this kind of idea that there was a criminal enterprise that engaged in all sorts of illegal activity. Sean Combs was leading it. The sex trafficking, again, you particularly moving people across state lines for commercial sex acts. There has to be an element of fraud or force or coercion. Combs' attorneys filed a letter asking Judge Arun Subramanian, this is the judge in the Southern District of New York who is overseeing this case, they're asking him to order the prosecution to electronically produce videos of the freak-offs to the defense. And the reason they want these electronically produced, the reason they want copies of these in their possession to review and analyze, and why they need the court to step in, is because they say that under the current protective order in this case regarding how evidence will be viewed and disseminated, the video evidence is available for inspection only, right? They have to go to a certain place provided by the prosecution in order to view these videos. They say that's not fair. And according to the defense, the federal prosecutors refuse to produce over these videos to them. But more importantly, and this is the key, Combs' lawyers write We need these videos because they prove our client is innocent. Quote, having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exculpatory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. The 9 videos at issue are the so-called freak-off tapes with victim 1 that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculation in the media. Contrary to what the government has led this court and the public to believe, the so-called freak-offs were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes filmed their sexual activity. These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in the indictment to be victim 1 not only consented but thoroughly enjoyed herself. And we believe victim 1 to be Cassandra Ventura. This is Diddy's ex, who first filed that initial sexual assault lawsuit against Combs back in 2023. She was also in that infamous surveillance footage that was published by CNN months ago, where you see Sean Combs in a towel beating Cassandra Ventura, dragging her, kicking her. The filing goes on to say, quote, moreover, contrary to innumerable sensationalistic media reports, the videos do not depict sex parties. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much of a hint of coercion or violence. So not only talking about the allegations in the indictment, but also all of the claims that have been made in the media as well. Now, far from the government's lurid descriptions, the videos show adults having consensual sex, plain and simple. At bottom, this case is about whether victim 1 was or was not a willing participant in her private sex life with Mr. Combs. The videos confirm that she plainly was. And the defense in this letter describes victim 1 in these videos as, quote, happy, dominant, and completely in control. They write, there is no evidence of any violence, coercion, threats, or manipulation whatsoever. There's no evidence that anyone is incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or excessive
He said
alcohol
anyone.
consumption. There is certainly no evidence of sex trafficking. That's what they say. They go on to write, the premise that freak-offs are inherently dangerous shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced. So again, that idea of doesn't seem like they're shying away from these freak-offs, but saying, while the freak-offs might be unusual, they're not illegal. Now, the defense also says that they reviewed photographs that they say victim 1 allegedly sent to Sean Combs, and they too appear in their characterization, quote, to reflect entirely consensual sexual activity. And the defense also claims in this letter that these recordings corroborate what witnesses have told the government.
Do we have any rich people in this chat? Anybody in here is rich? I just hope that you don't be just doing crazy shit with your money and just doing anything because you're bored. I just don't know. But them freak offs and stuff like that, if they consensual, that's, listen, that's your business. If that's what you want to do. If you want to party, they call it partying. If you want to party and stuff like that, that's your business. But when it comes to like selling people and trafficking and things like that, that's when it become a problem. Okay, so they should have figured something else out to do. But we gonna find out when it's time to go to court, and that is in May. I hope they find out before my birthday, cause y'all know I won't be front and center when it's time to go to court. Even though we're not gonna be able to be inside of the courthouse, but they will be updating us every time, every second of it. But yeah, that's what I wanted y'all to see. They didn't talk too much about it, so really that's kind of gonna be hard to prove when the only person that really know that you done it is the person that you hired, and you didn't even pay them. And if they done it, you're not gonna call and tell the police. I unalived Tupac, and Puffy didn't pay me to do it. That makes no sense. That's the dumbest criminal in the world. Well, it's not, because it's people that call the police and don't even be making sense what they be calling for. But anyway, that's what I wanted to call y'all. I done sat here and I done got tired. I'm gonna get me some sleep. Hopefully I better get up and get back in the gym tomorrow. And I just realized why I was tired, because I took some more cold and flu medicine. because I'm at the end. Tomorrow will make 7 days of this little flu thing. So hopefully I'll be getting better. I'm getting better by the day because I did get my house clean, y'all. And I was so concerned about that and didn't have enough energy to do it. And this flu is just like a roller coaster. It's up 1 minute, you're down. You feel good one moment, then you don't. You know what I mean? It's like a roller coaster, and I'm about sick of riding on this roller coaster ride. Good night to you. I'm about to go to sleep too, baby. And I didn't been to sleep, but I'm trying to get this cold out of me. But anyway, I will see y'all guys in the morning. See if y'all want to get up and go to church with me. I'm gonna be at the gym, but I want to be at church at the same time. So anyway, I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all for coming in here. But I knew I needed to come show my face because I ain't come on none yesterday. So anyway, Vibe said, feel better. Thank you, baby. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm just so stuffy. Good night.